Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for this edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Raddick, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including information from city departments and things happening in Oshkosh. In the second half, we'll highlight some items from the upcoming Tuesday, August 8th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our City Manager, Mark Roloff. Mark, thanks for being here today.
Great to be here, Andy.
Well, we have a action-packed show again today. We have a lot coming up to talk about. One thing that was actually very exciting and I think very enjoyable for the participants was on Tuesday, August 1st, the National Night Out happened. And this was sort of like a citywide party almost.
It absolutely was. I think this year we've finally gotten back to some of the pre-COVID excitement and togetherness that the neighborhoods had. So National Night Out's an annual community building event that promotes police community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie. And with our neighborhood associations, we're able to kick it up to a different level. A lot of communities just have one party, and that's what we used to do. But now we have it in multiple locations throughout the community. And our neighborhoods associations, they hosted a variety of block parties. I think there were about 17 of them throughout the city, and other community events with their safety demonstrations, youth events, visits from emergency personnel, exhibits, and so much more. And big feature is Magic, our police department therapy dog.
Very popular.
Wherever Magic goes, everybody gets really excited. So the National Neighborhood Night Out really enhances the relationship between neighbors and law enforcement while building a sense of community. And that was really what I enjoyed, going around to the different locations. Out of the 17, I got to about 6 of them, and I know some other city officials got out there and made more than me, but it was really a wonderful event. And it's typically held at different neighborhood associations throughout Oshkosh, and next year it was so successful we're already making plans for a National Neighborhood Night Out in 2024, typically the first Tuesday in August. So look forward to that in the future years, but it's a great event to bring the community together.
Yeah, and what would you tell somebody if they're thinking about going next year? Is it just for a certain group of people, or is this really for everybody?
Well, it's typically for the individual neighborhood associations, unless it's one of those groups that welcomes everybody. For example, the Boys and Girls Club has one that is really intended for the whole community. So you can take a look at those things, or even better yet, if you create your own neighborhood association, you can put your own little party together. And I saw some of those that were having theirs for the very first time, others that hadn't done one in a few years. And it really brings out the neighborhood and that sense of neighborliness that maybe you haven't gotten to know your neighbor in the past, but now you are. I saw a lot of people get to meet each other for the first time in their own neighborhood, and that's just a great feeling when you see something like that happen.
Okay, well, another successful year, and folks can check out the Facebook page for Oshkosh Police Department to see some photos from those recent events. So another thing, Mark, that happened just recently is, of course, the big EAA Air Venture, and I understand that it was a record-breaking year for them this year.
It sure was. This is the neighborhood of aviators from throughout the world, and they come, and total attendance, according to EAA's numbers, 677,000 total attendance. Another record, previously record in 2022 was 650,000. And I also got a report from our transportation director, Jim Collins, that our transit numbers were either at or near record levels yet again. So I think people got used to taking the bus around in previous excursions to Oshkosh, and it picked up again, and we're real happy that took place. But you can see some of the statistics, but over 10,000 aircraft, and of course helped by over 5,000 individual volunteers, but 93 countries, total of 2,372 international visitors. But one of the things we always like to talk about is the economic impact. Total is over $170 million for the 5 counties in the Oshkosh region. And that's based on a 2017 study. I think with everything going on, you're probably much greater than that now. But we love to host the world of aviation right here in Oshkosh. And I think we do a pretty good job at it, and we're excited and looking forward to planning that again next year as well with the leadership of Experimental Aircraft Association.
It's a wonderful event, and Oshkosh is very lucky to have that. So, very good event this year. We also wanted to talk about one of the things that comes up every year is the capital improvement program, and some information has been distributed to property owners. And this is a look at the projects that are proposed for 2024.
Right. We made a presentation earlier last month to the council about our proposed 2024 capital improvement program. It just got reviewed by the Plan Commission, and now we're letting property owners know, look, we are expecting to do your street next year, and we just want you to be aware of it. There's a lot of things that need to get done before that gets done, because as you can see, when we do a street project like this, we take care of everything, including everything under the street. So we want to let people know that there might be some utility replacement that's taking place that may impact your property. Concern about lead laterals is still a very real issue, and if we're replacing your lead, what's called your service into your property line or the lateral, you may also want to take a look at getting your service into your house also taken care of. And we have programs that can assist you with that. So we want to give people plenty of advance notice. We also need things that are called construction access agreements. They're really basically easements so that we can go on your property if we need to do restoration and things like that. So this allows us to get things all lined up so that when the bids are awarded next year, we can hit the ground running and get it done. Helps get the projects done on time. So if you do see something in the mail or we come visit you and asking for a construction access easement, it's really all about getting ready to access all the property so we can get the project done in an efficient fashion.
Sure. And viewers just saw briefly there that James Robbie, Public Works Director James Robbie, and I sat down and we recorded a little video that actually highlights a lot of these plans for next year and gives some background information for residents so that they can have a better understanding of what's to come and what to expect when they're actually having their road constructed, reconstructed, and things like that. So that program is available on the Oshkosh Media YouTube channel, and it's also available airing on Oshkosh Media Gov TV. And there will be additional spots available where folks can view that video, but it is online at this point, and people can check it out for more information.
Yeah, and if you have more questions, feel free to give our Public Works Director Engineering Division a call, and they'll be happy to give you whatever information you might be interested in. We may not know everything immediately, but that's why we work with you on the access agreement, so we can give you a little more detail about what to expect when we are digging in and around your home next year.
Okay, excellent. All right, and then we also have, speaking of capital improvements and construction projects, so Wisconsin Street has been under construction for a little while. It's getting much closer, actually, to opening, but we have a little bit of video that was recently recorded from the Oshkosh Media drone to take a look at where we're at with it, and it's moving along. As
you can see, we're making significant progress, and you can see in some of these photos that the driveways, some driveways have already been done, some are yet to be done. We anticipate the street will be open by the end of August, and really all that's left to finish right now are the sidewalks, the driveways, and landscaping restoration. But you can see that in some cases the driveways have been done, and in some cases they're getting cured. And so we'll be working with the residents to get those driveways done, because obviously everybody wants to get into their driveway and be able to use their garages and stuff like that. And I certainly want to thank everybody for their patience, because this is probably the most inconvenient part of the project, because when you can't put your car in your own driveway, it kind of puts you out of sorts, and I certainly understand that. So we'll keep you posted as progress is done. Of course, if you wish to sign up for the email construction updates, you can find that in the Hot Topics section of our website. But certainly if you're out there and you see our engineer out there, you can certainly talk to that person and get an update on what's going on and how it may impact your property, your access to your property, because that really is, it's a big deal, and it should be.
Mm-hmm, sure. And if folks are interested in getting construction updates and traffic restrictions for the entire city and all the projects going on, there is another webpage available that is linked through the city's website, and that includes all of those different areas around the city. You can just click on the map and get all the details. You can find that through the Hot Topics section of the city's website. Okay, also, in addition to the road construction, we also do have some building projects that are going on. One that is very exciting, and I think a lot of people are anticipating the completion of it, is the Four Seasons shelter building over at Lakeshore Park, and that's really moving along too.
It's moving along great, and it's a thing of beauty. It has taken some time, and there's a lot of construction delays just in the industry. Yeah. But you can see that the driveway parking lot is doing very well. But the building is very unique architecture, but also extremely functional. But you can see all the glass that when you're inside the building, looking out over where the Fox River and Lake Butamore come together. It's just a wonderful confluence and a wonderful view for everybody. So you can see that, of course, the landscaping is probably the biggest thing that has to get done. But we have a few more things we're working on. But we're getting close, and we should be open sometime in the fall or late this summer. So we're excited about that. But you can see just what type of facility this is going to be, and it truly will be Four Seasons. So if you want to, in the winter, go, say cross-country skiing or something like that, this will be a wonderful place to start and end your cross-country journey. So we're excited about that. But we also have our Parks Operations and Administration building over on Witzel, and it's progressing well. The office area is projected to be done by the end of August. And I had an opportunity to tour it recently and saw just how much more functional it's going to be for all our people. And getting the Parks Department under one roof will make them more efficient and better able to serve the public. So the fleet and shop areas, which are really the ones where everybody's coming together, they're on track to be completed later in September. But it's slowly making some progress, and obviously there's a lot of landscaping that needs to get done. But you can see just with all the bays that you see in the garage doors, there will be access for employees to get in their vehicles and get out on the road at the parks, doing things, repairing, maintaining our park system. This will make them so much more efficient, which will be better for the taxpayer, and for the park goers are going to really see an improvement as a result of the efficiencies that we're getting here.
Sure, and it even looks like a much better parking area for visitors to the facility as well. So all kinds of benefits to this, much more user friendly for the public to stop by and visit the Parks Department.
Can't wait to dedicate both of those facilities.
And we'll keep everybody updated on the progress and when there's a chance to maybe take a sneak peek of it. Okay, speaking of Parks Department, they have a lot going on this summer, and even though we're in August now, there's actually a lot more happening, a lot more to come. And I know that the Live at the Leach series has been very popular this year, and they have a band coming up on Tuesday, August 8th. Star 6-9 is coming.
Yeah, and of course, it begins at 5:30. There are going to be food trucks and just all sorts of family fun that you can come there, the bounce houses and face painting and things like that. We've been getting a couple thousand people at some of these events. It is extremely popular, and this is what the Leach Amphitheater was designed to do, intended to do. So, we don't talk about the generosity of the Leach family as much as we should because we kind of forget about it, but the Leach Amphitheater was a gift to the community, and we're really seeing the benefit and just what it does to help bring the community together. Very exciting.
Sure. wonderful event. Also, another event that Parks has been hosting is Brews on the Bay, and that's over at Menominee Park, and they have another one of those coming up on August 23rd.
Yeah, and even though it's on a Wednesday, the band that's going to be performing is Tuesday at 5 at our next Brews on the Bay. And again, there will be multiple food trucks, and then some of the local breweries and craft beers are there. A lot of fun, and bring the family down, bring a picnic, dinner if you don't want to buy from the food trucks, but plenty of things to do and see and enjoy right down there at Menominee Park.
Right, right. And speaking of food trucks, Food Truck Friday is coming up on Friday, August 11th, and that's over at South Park.
Come early because it is busy, but lots of more live music, raffles, and of course the food trucks and all that stuff going on. And it's just family friendly. And if you want to have some fun after a long, hard week at work, this is the place to go and do it.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And then also they have a new event, Yoga at the Leach Amphitheater is free, and that takes place beginning August 9th.
I guess I should be getting to a more mellow voice when we talk about this one, because it's just, there's something for everybody at the Leach, and so this is just one other way to experience the Leach, and just a different thing. And you can do yoga outside, which I think is probably something that people would love to do. But bring your mat. We don't have props or anything, so and of course, bring water, sunscreen, a hat, blanket, things like that. But you can see we've got some dates coming up in August and September, and just give the Parks Department a call at 236-5080 to register for these classes. And again, the classes are free.
Yes, absolutely. Take advantage of that, and another wonderful way to enjoy the Leach Amphitheater this summer. Okay, Mark, I think we need to take a short break here. Thanks for all these updates. And stay with us for some highlights from the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda. And we'll be right back.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, along with City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming Tuesday, August 8th Oshkosh Common Council meeting. So, Mark, there's some different things here at the beginning of the meeting. One of them is a presentation with yours truly.
Absolutely. So we're going to flip it around a little bit. I'm going to ask you the questions this time. It's really fascinating as you were showing me what you were planning to present to the council. But for example, how many different Facebook pages do we have related to the city of Oshkosh?
Well, folks might not realize it, but there are 24 Facebook pages that the city of Oshkosh operates. And so that's part of what this presentation is the goal of it is to have an overview of what the city is doing with social media, and to look at some facts and figures like that one, look at the different platforms that the city is on, and then show some examples of content, just so folks are aware of the types of things that they can find on those platforms. And then we talk a little bit about behind the scenes, how the city manages those social media platforms, and how that all happens, and how there's a lot of wonderful collaboration that takes place between departments, and just some future plans as well. But that's what we plan on talking about.
Well, you've created a committee of different people that manage all these social media pages, and so it really is a lot more coordinated than I think meets the eye.
Right, that is true. There's a group of social media collaborators from various departments that get together quarterly, and we look at different topics that are of interest. We share ideas. We talk about different tools that are available for us to use. We also look at best practices, and we also look at what other communities are doing, and if we can get some ideas from our colleagues in other places, we do that too.
I think the public will be pleasantly surprised with some of the things you're going to hear from Andy on Tuesday night. So I get to plug a little bit of his presentation this time. So it was fun to turn the tables on you a little bit, Andy. So I'll turn the program back to you for the Q&A.
Okay, that sounds really good. Not used to being on that side of the table.
Yeah, how's it feel, huh?
It was fun. It was fun. Yeah, and more to come on Tuesday because that's right at the beginning of the meeting, and we'll have an interesting presentation there. Okay, once we get into the meeting consent agenda, we have some different topics here. One is some repairs over at the Best Western Premier Hotel parking ramp. And I know that it's kind of an unusual situation with the city and that parking ramp.
Yeah, a lot of it goes back to the history of when that garage was built in the 1970s and 80s. And we have some responsibility for maintaining the garage, but we also have a very collaborative relationship with the hotel to make sure it gets maintained without using city tax dollars. So they actually enact a little per room night. It doesn't cost anything to use the garage itself, but for each room night there's a few dollars that are tacked onto the bill, and that is used towards getting some of the repairs. And we just recently redid a study that said what repairs are needed, and so there are some concrete repairs because it's a concrete garage and it's been there for over 40 years now. And so we're going to spend roughly $36,000 to do some repairs to just keep it modern, keep it safe, and again, it's done without city tax dollars because the hotel works with us to get it all done. So we're happy about that.
Okay, very good. Then also we have an item looking to purchase 3 ambulances, and I understand that maybe we were attempting to purchase these sooner, and we're looking to do it now.
Yeah, this is an interesting story. The council actually approved the purchase of these vehicles back in late 2021 for the 2022 budget. But supply chain issues have just been horrendous. And we were informed by the bidder, or the company that got the bid award, that they were not going to be able to deliver on this. So we went out and identified another vendor that had some ambulance chassis available that we could access, and so we're asking the council to reverse the bid award. We did already purchase some equipment through them that can be used on whatever ambulance we use, like power cots and things like that, but we're actually asking the council to award it to a different company. Quite honestly, it's going to cost about an extra $100,000 per vehicle. That's the going rate for the vehicles these days. So while we're paying more, we're still paying pretty much market rate for these types of things. But it's one of those things that we have to be aggressive if we were going to replace our public safety vehicles, because these already should have been replaced over a year ago, and they start to become more expensive to maintain, less reliable, and reliability of public safety equipment is absolutely our number one priority. So we're going to get these done and get new vehicles back on the road, which will make it safer for everybody.
Sure. Important to keep up with our public safety hardware and vehicles. Okay, then also we have an item. We're approving an assessment revaluation contract, and this relates to the value of our property values within the city and the whole process that's involved with that.
The state requires the city to have our values as close to market rate as possible. When we fall out of a 10% range, when we're below 90%, the clock starts running, and that clock runs out next year. So our goal is to get the revaluation done next year, where we basically re-level the playing field in terms of property values. So that's what this process is all about.
Okay, and there's a lot that's involved with it. Is this for both residential and commercial properties?
It is. We do not assess manufacturing properties, but all residences, whether it's single family, multifamily, as well as commercial properties. We're going to go through a complete revaluation process for every property in the city.
Okay. And then also, do properties all change at the same rate?
They actually don't, because it depends on how the market has been for different types of properties. Different types of properties sometimes do better than others, and it's really what the market dictates. So if you have a property that maybe it's more popular, you might see your value go up quicker than your neighbor. It may have something different style, or a different area of town may be a little different. But you're going to see those differences based on how the market bases these on. So it's really just, like I said, re-leveling of the playing field so that everybody is paying everybody is getting valued according to what the market is bearing out in the real estate market.
Sure. And I understand that property values, really depending on the marketplace, they can change, and a person's property might change in value even if they haven't made a lot of improvements.
That's correct. I mean, because if you take a look at somebody who's getting a refinancing done, the bank may say, well, your house appraises at much more than what you paid for it. Really what we're doing is we're readjusting to where the market is today.
Okay, sure. And what's the schedule for this revaluation?
We anticipate to send out the assessment notices in April of 2024. So you may get a card or a letter from the city asking to take a look at your house, particularly if you've had some work done at your house. We want to just take a look and just see how it compares with our property records. Some cases you're just doing something to maintain your property, other times you're really improving it. So we take a look at those things to determine the value relative to the value of other properties. So expect those to be out in 2024, and then shortly after that you'll have the opportunity, what's called open book. You can come in and see what other people's properties have been valued at, and then of course you have appeal rights. We have a citizens board of review that will take a look at that if you feel that your property isn't appropriately valued relative to everybody else's. So be on the lookout for that information, particularly next spring.
Okay, we'll keep everyone updated on that. All right, then also under pending ordinances, we have a change of right-of-way for Kentucky and Central Streets, and this is over at the new Vel Phillips School.
It is for Vel Phillips, but if everybody can remember, because Webster Stanley has been torn down, the temporary facility for the kids going to Menominee School next year is the old Merrill School. So not only are we changing the traffic pattern here, but we're going to have 4 schools where 2 schools used to be. So it's going to be pretty crowded over there. So you may recall that Kentucky Street used to be a northbound street. We are going to flip that, and Kentucky will now be southbound, so that when parents are dropping off their kids, they get to drop them off immediately in front of the school. And then similarly, Central Street will become a northbound street, so parents dropping their kids off at Merrill will be able to drop them off on the side of the street facing Merrill. So we're all doing this in anticipation of a lot of parents getting used to some new traffic patterns. So you're going to hear us talk a lot about this. We're going to have directional signs out there, so please be on the lookout for that, and maybe even do a test drive over to school to make sure you know what you're doing when first day of school starts. But it will be hectic for a year as both schools are there. But the one-way streets are probably the biggest thing we want to let people know about.
Okay, very good. And then we do have a zone change for a property located at 1000 Bauman.
This is the marina that is immediately in that neighborhood, and we suggested that we go to a planned development so that we have a little greater say over things like parking and things like that. This is not the site plan for the development. This is just the rezoning, but this will give us more flexibility to dictate certain things on this development. And I know the neighbors are interested, so we're interested as well.
Okay, very good. And then wrapping up the meeting, I know that we're looking at some future workshops. We're talking budget quite a bit these days. Budget workshop number 2 is coming up on August 29th.
It sure is, and we're going to be discussing early projections for 2024 and get some priorities for council. And we're also going to have continued discussions on what we're going to do with special assessments. Council is evaluating different options. So 5 p.m. on August 29th. Be on the lookout.
Okay, very good. Well, Mark, that was a lot of material. Thank you for cramming it all in.
It's always a pleasure, Andy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you tuning in. Again, that Common Council meeting is at 6 p.m. this Tuesday, August 8th at City Hall, 215 Church Avenue. You can watch that live on GovTV, which is Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can always listen on the radio, Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for phones and tablets. So thanks again for joining us. Join us again in 2 weeks for another City Managers Report. Thanks for watching.